both moved my toes around, but they had no feeling left in them, and the pain just kept spreading. Please call Mom, I asked. While she was out of the room, I wondered, is this what it feels like to be paralyzed? Later, my mom told me all she could hear over the phone was my screaming and crying. I heard her say to Kate, put Annie on the phone, now. When I took the phone, I couldn't even say anything, the pain was so bad. But my mom had a few words for me. Quit being a drama queen, she said. You're scaring your sister. When I got home, they ran to my room. My dad thought I was faking, so he picked me up and dropped me to force me to use my legs to stop myself from falling, but I just tumbled to the floor. My parents laid me on my belly and began to massage the so-called cramps out of my legs. Then my mom noticed that if there were cramps, they would be able to feel them, but my legs were just completely relaxed. My dad then turned me over and tried my reflexes. I didn't have any. My parents decided my dad should take me to the hospital. He carried me down the stairs into the car. By that time, my legs were completely numb and I couldn't move them at all. My dad asked my mom what hospital he should take me to. Early in the year, I had broken my arm and we had gone to a different hospital. They told me my arm wasn't broken, but when we went to the doctor, he said it was actually broken very badly. My mom asked him for future reference what hospital he would take his kids to if there was ever an emergency. He told her to go to Children's, so that's what my mom told my dad to do that morning. It was the longest car ride of my life. During the ride, my back began to hurt extremely bad to the point where I couldn't even get into a comfortable position. When we got to the hospital, my dad got me a wheelchair and took me inside. They immediately took me back into the ER. They did a CAT scan, x-rays, a spinal tap, blood work, and a urine test, but could not figure out exactly what was wrong with me. And I still had no more movement in my legs than when I first arrived. They told me that they believed I had something called Guillain-Barré because of the quick impact and the fact that it began in my toes. They told me that normally it quickly took over the affected person's body, leaving them paralyzed from the toes to the top of their head, and sometimes left them without speech and not being able to breathe on their own. My dad called my mom and told her that it was not just cramps or a pinched nerve, but something way more serious, and she better get to the hospital. They told me that Guillain-Barré was a disease that damaged your nerves, but because they had no neurology department at Children's Legacy, because it was such a new hospital, they had no neurology department at Children's Legacy because it was such a new hospital. At midnight that night, they took me by ambulance downtown to Children's in Dallas. The next morning, they started me on steroids to stop the nerve damage from continuing. They took me down for an MRI of my body so that they could be completely positive that I had Guillain-Barré. After reviewing the MRI, they saw something on my spine. The doctor came in and told me that I had an extremely rare condition called transverse myelitis. She said it was so rare that not even she fully understood what it was because she'd only seen it once or twice before. But there was a new doctor who had just come from Johns Hopkins Spinal Cord Institute in Baltimore, Maryland, and his specialty was TIA. She asked us if he could come and see me, and of course we agreed. That afternoon, I got the opportunity to meet the most brilliant man in the whole world, Dr. Benjamin Greenberg. I told him I had no idea what had happened to me the day before, and he explained it to me very simply. The flu shot had given me a little bit of flu so my body could build up the antibodies to defend myself against it. Antibodies are what fight against sickness and keep you healthy. Somewhere along the line of communication from my brain to my antibodies, there was a mistake, and my antibodies began to believe that the myelin coating on my nerves and my spinal cord was the enemy that they needed to defend themselves against, so they attacked. My body then tried to repair itself, but it left a scar across my spine, leaving my brain cut off from sending messages to below my belly button. He told me to think of it as a cord connecting a stereo to speakers. A cat comes and attacks the plastic reactor on the outside of the cord, protecting the wires. The stereo now cannot get across to the speakers, so the speaker does not work. They put me on steroids for 5 days. After the steroids, I could move my legs a little bit. Then they told me that they had to clean my blood to get all of the bad antibodies out of my plasma because they were attacking my body. The treatment was called plasmapheresis. I had every day for 10 days. After that, my doctors decided that any other treatments available to me might be more harmful than helpful. In October 2009, I was transferred to a physical therapy hospital. Because of Children's, I've been able to meet many other people with the same disease as me. Some of them are walking and running, but some of them are still in wheelchairs. We have all talked and have a theory that some of your recovery depends on the treatments you get and how soon you get them. Because Children's diagnosed me so quickly, I was able to get my steroids in a very short time from the onset. I truly believe that has helped me. If I had been at a different hospital and they did not have the doctors with the same knowledge as the Children's doctors, then I might not be where I am today. The physical therapy that you get is also another big part of recovery. They started me very early, trying to teach me new things, like how to get around in a wheelchair and how to sit correctly again. Because they didn't only focus on the medicine, I started my physical therapy earlier than most, and I think that has also played a big part in my recovery, because my muscle memory was not totally lost. One more major thing is the way your attitude is towards your disease. My doctors and nurses were constantly encouraging me and telling me that I would get better and play soccer again. It was so easy to stay positive when I had so many people on my side. I'm so happy all of the staff was so great and so helpful. I've heard some stories of hospital staff that was not helpful or encouraging at all. I feel so lucky to have had such great care. Children's is a great place because they have great people helping them do what they do. They could always use more help though. Some kids in the hospital do not live in or near Dallas, so they do not get many visitors, and that can make them very lonely. I think they would love if someone around their age, like you, would come and visit them. It would be fun for them to get to watch a movie or read a book with you, just something to get their minds off of all of the bad things that are happening in their life. If you're not comfortable with doing something like that, you could always do something else, like fundraising. It doesn't matter your age, you can always make a difference. Last year, I did Children's Red Balloon Race. I decided to talk to my family and friends who are interested in my recovery and asked them to donate some money to my team for the race. Some people donated $5, some donated $20, and some even donated $1,000. I thought maybe I would raise somewhere around $2,000, but I was not expecting to do much because I was 14 and didn't think I could make a difference. I ended up raising $20,000 for the TM clinic. Then a company took my $20,000 and helped me out in my fundraising by doubling it. It was the most amazing feeling to be so young but still be able to make a difference in the hospital. Now my money is going towards research and new doctors and new equipment to help out people who are now in the position I was in 2 years ago. It was an amazing experience, so I've decided to do it again this year and try to raise more money than I rose last year. All of my doctors have decided to join my team too. Because of them and because of Children's, I will be able to walk the 1K in hopefully around 20 minutes. If you don't want to do something like fundraising, you could always volunteer to do something like work in the toy room or work the cart that hands out stuffed animals. Nothing you can do could be too small. No matter what job you're doing, you're helping to make someone's life better. I'm so incredibly lucky that I was able to come to Children's. I really believe it is the reason I'm able to do everything that I'm able to do today. Thank you for helping Children's be a better place for kids like me.
Thank you, Annie. Does anybody have questions at all for Annie about her experience here at Children's or her Red Balloon team? You can see she sent some pictures for us so you can kind of see what it's like. That's your tent, right? For your team, because you raised so much money, you got a tent that you could decorate. So that's it in the corner, and then this was you on the, is it the 1K?
Yes.
Walking? Yeah. And then there was some pictures of Annie when she was in the hospital here at Children's. What's the top left?
They had some clowns come to visit, just for fun. And then the light gate, which I first walked with that because it took some of my weight off my body, so I could move my legs in the walking motion.
So is that while you were in the hospital before you were discharged that you had you doing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Annie, what did we call that machine?